Hello, hello, and welcome to a little bonus episode where we will get to know the You Can Call Me Karen hosts. This is Karen. I've got Manika Rosa. I never can decide whether to call you Manny or Manika. And Stephanie J. And we're going for full names today. And we are excited to tell you a little bit about ourselves.
And the blue one, and the yellow one, and the red.
All right. Welcome to our little special bonus where we're just going to go through some questions and share a little bit about ourselves so everyone has a better understanding of who you're listening to on a weekly basis, hopefully a weekly basis. So as a reminder, I think it was our dance episode, Steph mentioned that the three of us met at Ohio State on the dance team. At the time, it was known as the Buckeye Dance Force, which is pretty intense. Now the Ohio State dance team. And since then, we have been friends for, I think over 20 years now. Yeah. We have seen each other get married. We've seen each other start families. Bless you. We have traveled together. We have grown careers. We have become strong, independent, not
Black women.
dependent. Some of us have. And today we thought it would be great to just share a little bit more about who we are, both individually and collectively. So I will get us going then and put you on the spot, Steph, and tell us a little bit about where you're from originally and like your family, like your parents, your siblings. What did that look like growing up?
Well, hello. So I'm originally from Columbus, Ohio. So obviously I didn't go far to go to Ohio State. And so my parents had me, and I have a younger brother named Steven, who, by the way, did our music.
Shout out, Steven.
Shout out, Steven. And so, grew up, two parents, home, younger brother. When I was a sophomore, my parents got divorced, and then I went to Ohio State and met y'all, the loves of my lives, and my parents also then met loves of their lives. So my mom then remarried. I have a couple step siblings. My dad remarried. I have a couple half siblings. But if you're asking like what my home, like how I grew up, I definitely grew up with just like one younger brother, two parents for the most of my like childhood. And my brother and I are super close. He went to Ohio State because he had no choice, and we're all diehard Buckeyes, and so
awesome. Manny, same question.
Yeah. I love like they had no choice. I feel like that with my kids, but I don't know. They might disappoint me.
There's no way all of our kids make us happy with that.
Yeah, I know. Although I feel like our most recent reunion like did kind of solidify that. I swear today I heard Miles being like, dun 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 dun.
No.
Dun, 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 dun. And I was like,
yes.
Okay, so that's the Ohio State, like How Firm Thy Friendship, Carmen, Ohio intro for those of you who are maybe Michigan fans not listening anymore.
Don't hang up.
Keep listening. So I grew up in Maryland, so I did not know anything about this big like university when I was growing up. University of Maryland was the only college that I was really exposed to at a young age, and it's cute compared to Ohio State. It's cute. That little stadium's cute. We were big NFL fans in my house growing up. My mom particularly loves football, so that's how I got into football. My brother played Pee Wee football growing up. I have an older brother who's 6 years older than me and an older sister who's 12 years older than me, and two older brothers who have been like out of my life since I was born. Just they were in the prison system, and we just never were able to really like establish a firm relationship because they're like 14 or 15 years older than me. So we lived different lifetimes. But my brother and my sister were in the house, and my brother played Pee Wee football. I did not want to be a cheerleader on the sideline. I wanted to be next to my mom and the other parents, like hyping them up and with their cowbells, being all obnoxious, like
That sounds right.
so that like planted the seed for me of like, when I go off to school, I want to go to like a college that has like a good football program. What you might have wanted to go because of marine biology. I wanted to go to see a good college football rivalry. So I don't know. We all have our own paths, but I started dancing when I was 3. Dancing for me was always very therapeutic, particularly when I turned 8 and my dad passed away. And from that point on, I really just used dancing as a coping mechanism, and it carried me many places. Particularly one summer, I got to be a dance instructor who went around the country, or mainly the East Coast and some of the Midwest, teaching dance camps. And that's when I fell onto Ohio State's campus. And there was a girl on my team who was already in Ohio State on the cheer team for Ohio State. I think she was on the club team. And she took me around, was like, this is probably where like you want to go to school. And I was like, after walking around campus, I was like, yeah, this is probably like where I want to go to school. So anyway, that like in a nutshell, there's some other stuff in there, but to keep with the time, I'm going to ask you, Karen, like, what was your household like growing up, and where are you from?
First of all, I feel ashamed to know that I didn't know that story about how you stumbled on Ohio State.
I didn't.
I feel like I should have
Because you
known
guys are
that.
assholes and you only talk about yourselves and you never want to hear about me.
Yeah, which is why we have a podcast, more listening to ourselves talk. Yeah, so I am from the suburbs of Chicago. I have one older sister. My parents, I guess, were a little bit behind on the times when they named us, so it's Linda and Karen. Oh, it's never not funny.
And your husband's name is?
Bob. Everyone's favorite aunt and uncle. Here comes Auntie Karen and Uncle Bob. Yes, it's a real hit with my son's birth family. They find that very entertaining. Anywho, grew up in the suburbs. Let's see. I came into dance in high school, so I figure skated when I was young for like 7 years, and then that got too expensive for us to maintain. And I tried out for the dance team when I got to high school because my sister had done that, and she was like just bringing me along for the ride. And it worked. I figured it out. I got pretty good at it. I sent in a tape to try out for Ohio State, and by some miracle, they let me join you all. So that's how I found deserving. My way. Well, you're very kind. But that's how I found my way to Ohio State. My dad actually was like, he spent a little bit of time growing up in Ohio, and so he was always an Ohio State fan, and I wanted to get away from Chicago for a while. So that looked like fun, and it was. And so on this note, actually, of Ohio State, what I guess I'll flip up the order, Manny, to you first. What did you major in at Ohio State, and does that align with what you do today? So tell us what you do today as well.
So I majored in criminology, minored in women's studies, and
yes, obviously.
who didn't minor in women's studies. And I today have my own educational consulting business. So yeah, they align. Do the math.
I feel like I knew you majored in criminology, but like, yeah, now that you say those words out loud, that's kind of entertaining.
To be fair, all of my classes before, like you can go and do FBI type stuff were sociology classes. So that's why I say that, yeah, they align because like all the classes that I was taking was on data statistics, generalizing populations and watching how different groups of people move about in society, like that is what I do today, so
No,
I
that's
was
cool.
kind of joking, but not, because like all those sociology classes really did like help frame the work that I do today.
Love
Yeah,
that.
I for some reason thought you majored in sociology because you took a lot of sociology classes. So that's what your major was. So
Yeah, I don't think
I don't know you at all.
I think it's different now. I don't think they have like criminology major now. I think it is sociology major, but at that time it was like criminology.
Mm.
Yeah.
Also, I just wanted to say a couple things. First of all, Manny, when you said that we didn't know you, I just would like to point out when we first met. Do you know a story I'm about to tell you? I literally, when tried to strike up conversations with Manny, I have 3 separate instances of which she basically blew me off. Like one we're getting on the bus. She was auditioning for the team. We met at the bus stop, and I was like, "Hey, so you're trying out for the dance team?" And you were like, "Mm-hmm." And I'm like, it's just so short. Then she makes the dance team, and I'm like, Manika, your name is Manika, and my middle name is Anika. Isn't that crazy? Mm-hmm. Okay, good talk.
Yeah, she's been a bitch from the start.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, I
Oh God.
connect with the only other black girl on the team. Okay, this is my mistake. But whatever. I'm just kidding.
Scared. I'm also a
Oh.
like huge introvert. Like I just am like an internal processor. So like it's really this episode is actually stressing me out the most because I don't have the questions. So like I'm like, but I'm like pretty, you were also 2 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't even allowed to go to Fort Kegs. Remember, I didn't even turn. I was still 17 when
Oh my
classes started.
gosh.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Didn't we sneak you in there? Didn't we like pull
Yes.
you over the fence or whatever to get in?
Oh, that was camp. It was camp. I was 18 when
Camp, yeah.
school started, but it was camp, the week of camp. Yeah. So like I was intimidated. And my
Yeah.
way
Oh,
of
you like
showing that was
ironed my hair. Do you remember that?
you let
Oh,
a 17-year-old iron your hair.
yeah. I mean,
You trusted me.
who didn't? I don't know. I was like, she seems cool. What could go wrong?
Oh man.
Oh, okay. Let's
Oh,
stay on
sorry.
topic here, guys.
Sorry.
Stop
I'm sorry.
distracting
That
me.
was good memory lane, Steph. I'm sorry about that. Former Manika apologizes for that rudeness.
While you're or wallowing in your sadness of being rejected by Manny, can you tell us about what you majored in and what you do today?
Well, my bachelor's degree is in psychology with a minor in dance.
Hmm.
This is
and,
amazing.
and so yeah. And then I worked for like Abbott Labs. And I was like an account manager for 8 years, 7 years. It was 7 years. And so just kind of like business to business, accounts receivable, logistics, blah, blah, blah. So that had absolutely nothing to do with my degree. And then I kind of realized this type of work is not for me. I want to connect more. So I went back to school and got my teaching license. And so I'm a licensed middle school teacher. I'm licensed to teach math and English. And this is now year 10 of teaching. So
Wow.
I've taught eighth grade, and I now teach sixth grade. And I also am a dance teacher. So I teach part time at a dance studio here in Columbus. And it's the owner of the studio was my dance teacher growing up, which is funny because when I introduced myself, I didn't say anything about how dance, like how I fell into dancing, which is so crazy. But my dance teacher growing up was very influential to me. And I just always stayed in contact with her. And one day I reached out just to say hello, and she was like, I need a dance teacher. And I was like, okay. And here I am. This is year 17 at the studio. So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's crazy.
So no, my degree had nothing, absolutely nothing. My Ohio State degree has nothing to do with anything that I'm doing. I guess I minored in dance. There's that.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And I'm sure you do some psychology with your students.
Oh yeah, you know what?
Jedi mind
You
trick.
know what's funny? With my psychology degree, I didn't have to take any psych courses for my teacher license, which was part of my my whatever Karen certification. Yes, I learned a lot.
My whatever.
My whatever.
Whatever we want to call it these days.
Karen, how about you tell us about what you majored in and how that impacted what you do now?
Yeah, I guess I'm the anomaly here. So I majored in business, specifically operations management. I minored in Spanish, although I kind of forgot about that until you both said minors, and I realized, oh, I have one of those too. And I am now in business. So I am in the consulting world. I have jumped around like back and forth between consulting and various business roles, but always in like supply chain and procurement type roles. So, and I got an MBA, which kind of silly, but I did. So that's me.
Well, while we're talking about masters, no, I'm just kidding.
No, we don't care about your masters. Shut up.
I have two.
Show off. You had to make up for criminology, you know. So
I did go back and get degrees in education. Everybody, I did 2 of them. Damn it.
Okay, on to the next. Now that we've caught up with where you're from, where you went to school, how we met, and what you do, tell us about, I'm starting with you this time, Steph, your current family, your partner, your children.
Sorry, not to interrupt, but I was going to say, tell us who you're currently fucking.
Why didn't you lead this episode? Manny's like, I'm the uncomfortable introvert.
Well, now that we know each other, but yes, you feel very antsy not knowing where we're going. Okay.
Steph, who you fucking?
You guys, here's why this kills me is my husband would be so mortified by that question. Like he would be so but I mean no, I'm just kidding. So my husband, Steve, he's like the greatest guy. I met him, he worked with one of my friends that I've had since middle school. They worked at the same office, and she had a Memorial Day barbecue and invited coworkers and then friends. And she literally like was like, the friends were kind of staying with the friends and the work people were staying with the work people. And she was like, you guys need to mix it up. She like was like, Steph, get over there and hang out with my coworkers. Like, this is ridiculous. It's like middle school. And so we all kind of sat in a big circle and kind of hung out. And I remember meeting him, but he, you know, was enamored because I'm amazing. And so we changed information. This was like, what, 7 years ago? and then started dating and got married like 2 years later or 3 years later. I don't know. But he's just the best, and I love him, and I feel very lucky. And we have a 2-year-old, little Quinn. She's cutie, and she also is a toddler, so she's also not cute sometimes. And P.S. she started dancing, and it's my favorite thing ever because she loves it, and I just hope that she sticks with it because it's been so special to me. So that's my little baby.
For our listeners, that little baby popped out of the womb doing like perfect turned out splits.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we all have very high hopes for this one.
High hopes.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Manny, same to you. Tell us about your fam, your boo.
So
Who you fucking?
Who you fucking? It's the same. The answer is the same to my husband and who I'm fucking. So weird.
Oh, it's the same. Okay, cool. Good for you. Good for you. Keeping it clean.
Yeah, we're keeping it clean over here. Although, if that's what you like to do, that's you, boo. As long as it's consensual. So, my husband too is lovely and gentle and kind. We met working at the first school that I started working at in Northern Virginia. He was social studies teacher in social studies department, so was I. And we also taught student government together, which meant that we were sharing the classroom because we were co-teachers. And he was actually supposed to get married, and he did get married actually, and it didn't end up working out. And so I got to watch him go through a divorce, and that was really tough because it was, as you can imagine, like pretty hard to deal with. And so during that time, I did not like him very much because I'm I don't know. Again, I was raised by a single mother, so we kind of didn't have a lot of time to um, show up to work and have feelings, and so I kind of placed that expectations on other people. Um, I'm realizing, but so during that time, I was just starting out my career. My career was everything to me. I didn't have kids, and I just was not patient with him. But one night we went out with some friends, and I got to see him in a different light. And we started hanging out a little bit more, hooking up, and had our first daughter named Brielle. And Brielle is a beautiful blessing, and she was the first child to be initiated into the Buckeye Dance Force family.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's an important generation.
Yeah. And then I want to say like 3 or 4 years later, it was like, shit or get off the pot kind of situation for both of us. Like, what are we doing? And we realized that we really love each other and we wanted to commit our lives together. So we got married in St. Lucia in August of 2015. 2 years later, we had our second child, Millie. And then we decided we were educators and able to live wherever we wanted to. So we were looking for houses. And in February of 2020, we landed on our dream home in New Jersey. And we signed a deal. And then a month later, COVID happened.
Oh my gosh.
We went crazy. And also, we found out we were pregnant with our third child, Miles. So,
just a couple things going on.
like a little bit of changes. So, yep, Miles was born July 2020 during COVID, which was weird. But he is the definite punctuation mark to our family. We are good. We are done. Has brought us the life that we were like, okay, this is different.
Yeah. Yes, they are.
we're finally kind of opening up to a new phase of parenting where our kids are a little bit more self-sufficient. So Stephanie, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's going to be another couple of years, but you are almost free.
Until, you know,
until the
you're
other stuff
not.
creeps up.
Yeah,
Yeah, but each phase of parenting is hard, and yeah, I'm happy that I have a very supportive partner who adores me, adores our home, and adores our children. And yeah, we I remember when we first met his parents. You know, when I first met his parents, they gave me a hug goodbye, and they said, "Just be kind to each other." That was it. That was their advice, and I've just carried that with me ever since. And I've watched them do the same to one another, and it makes sense now why my husband's the way that he is. So, anyway.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So
that just
adorable. It's obnoxious.
And we're celebrating our 10-year wedding anniversary next year in New York City, and we're so excited. All of us together, dance part. Talk about social dancing. Love it.
Yeah, we are going to be getting it down. Getting it down.
Getting it down is that's how you say
down
it
with
now.
the get down.
I'm gonna be getting it down.
Bet.
All right. I will round us out, and then we'll get to the good question. So I live in Chicago now with my husband, Bob, and my beautiful son, Maxwell. He is 6. Bob and I adopted him locally. So we have a non-traditional, I would say, household where we keep up with his birth family, both his birth mom and birth dad. I was actually telling my lovely co-hosts about a baby shower that we went to last week, I want to say, on his birth dad's side, and met another one of his brothers. I met his dad for the first time. So that's my son's birth grandfather. I know it gets a little confusing. There's a lot of people to keep track of in this household, but it's beautiful. And I wouldn't want it any other way. And I love that our kiddo will have the access to his birth family that he will undoubtedly need one day. So it's kind of lovely how close everyone is. And Bob and I have been married for almost, you guys, 15 years. 15 years in like 2 weeks. Yeah. And I've known him since I was in 7th or 8th grade. It's still,
wow.
I know, it's so crazy. Yeah. So we dated a little bit in high school and broke up for college, most of college, but we both went to Ohio State and found our way back to each other. So here we are.
So cute.
We're so adorable.
You guys really
But now, before we wrap up, I want to put you all on the spot. And if you need a minute, I can share mine first. Funniest memory together. It could be the 3 of us together, or it could just be like one-on-one. I have made a list. So if you want me to kick us off, I will gladly do that.
Yes, please. I want to hear you. But I do want to say before we wrap, all of us kind of had non-conventional moments in our families and generating these families, you know, like Steph, you know, you were so specific about the partner that you wanted, and you were so patient, and you know, and it came to you when it came to you. You know, obviously my situation with Luke and having our baby without being married first, which who cares? And Karen, you and you know what you were saying with your situation. I just think it's so beautiful when you like meet the right person. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You just define it and it works. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there.
And I do think it's proof that the whole theme of this pod is to bring us together instead of, you know, further divide us. And I think it goes to show that what everybody like will think of as normal is actually not normal. Like there's not too many like just normal vanilla families. Everybody comes together in different ways and considers their family unit in different ways and stuff. So I like that. On the surface, I look at you all and think like, oh, what, like a kind of normal family. But no, like everyone has their things that make them unique. So So love that. Okay, on to the funny, and then we'll wrap up this bonus episode. So I will kick us off. I have about 30 that I could call out. So we'll see how many we want to get through. But the first one was at so Manny's bachelorette party was in Chicago, and I kind of like, I kind of hosted in the sense that like I'm the one that lives here, and so I picked out the places and whatever. We went towards the end of the night. We went to this rooftop bar, which was so fun, and danced because that's what we like to do. And at one point, there was like this catwalk down the center of the dance floor. Manny's head is in her hands right now. So there was like this catwalk, and I'm sure they had like go-go dancers and stuff up there. It was not for people who were just like at the club. And I think our server told us like, you can sit on it, but you're not allowed to like stand or dance on it. Like they will kick you out if you do that. And we're like, okay, got it. No problem. We can handle this. We are big girls. So towards the end of the night, our feet are killing us because we're all in heels. We've been dancing our faces off. I'm sitting next to Manny on this catwalk, and she turns to me with all seriousness in her face. She's like, "You ready to get kicked out?" And I'm like, "Yes!" So instantly she stands up, starts dancing on the catwalk as she is not supposed to do. The bouncer can see her from a flippin' mile away, comes kind of charging through the crowd, gets to her and is like standing below her and is like, get down. And Manika just throws her arms out and trust falls onto this man. The catwalk. He catches her like a rag doll and sets her down. And we didn't get kicked out. That's the best part. He was like, "Don't do that again." And I was sobbing. Oh my God. It's like burned in my brain. That image will never leave. It makes me so happy. I was just sobbing. It was the funniest and bravest thing in hindsight. Like you just trust fell on a complete stranger. Oh my God. Oh, one of my favorite memories. I loved it so much.
I forgot about that one. That's good. That is a good.
That's a good one.
You ready to get kicked out? So good.
Oh gosh,
Hopefully that got your memories going, but
Ooh,
I'm ready to hear some more.
My cheeks hurt.
That actually sparked a memory of Manika.
Okay. It's always Manika.
So we were at our friend Andrew's apartment, and I think this was like post graduation. No, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what the timeline was, but yeah, I don't know what the timeline was, but I think that you were meeting Andrew for the first time. So then it wasn't post graduation, I don't think. But we were like, "Andrew, this is Manny. Manny, this is Andrew." And then Manny goes running to him, into his arms, and starts like swinging like around, like he had to like hold her, and it was like circles, and she was going, "Whoa, whoa." And we were like, "So that's Manny," and he was like, "Okay."
Oh, these memories. I could just see them. So good.
God. Jeez. Well, I guess I'm a good time.
You're not so bad. You're not so bad.
Oh my God. Damn, how am I going to top these? Mine is a little bit more tame, but I feel like this is like one of the pivotal moments, like where like, the universe just puts you in the right place at the right time. I think, Karen, you and Steph were really close in college. Me and you were like, we were friend adjacent, but I think it was like post college that we really, when we started doing these reunions, that we really started like hanging out. And I think we were at Erica's house one night, and we were riding back. We were staying with Steph, and we were riding in Steph's car. And that song, like, "I don't fuck with you," had just like,
My
And
anthem.
Yes, and me and Karen were like, we love it, but we couldn't get the lyrics, you know. And we and like,
No, I had the lyrics.
oh,
To be clear.
and we like in true like Steph, she was like, "You little motherfucking bitch! I'm not fucking with you." Like we.
You still got them wrong. I'm just
Whoa,
saying.
it's wrong.
You little stupid ass bitch.
That was a fun car ride, and from then on, it was like that's like our anthem, and we were like riding everywhere together. We were doing everything together from that moment on. And I just love that so much.
I like to believe I'm not an angry person, but those songs like that and like "Bitch Better Have My Money," like I
love those.
I really like some angry music to just let it all out. All right, I have one last one.
Okay.
To wrap it up. And I think that this is a really important one. It may have been told on this pod already, and I don't care. Because if you didn't hear that episode, this is an important thing you need to know about us. So about 2 years ago, Steph and I and our families went and visited Manny and her family in New Jersey. You know where this is going. And we got a babysitter one night. We got a babysitter and we went out to dinner. And Manika drove us in her minivan, which she is very proud of. And she was following the directions on the nav like a good, I don't know, driver would, I guess. And we were pulling into the parking lot of the restaurant that we're going to. And Bob and I are sitting way in the back. And all of a sudden Bob's like, is that the ocean? And like, Manny hits the brakes. We are moments from driving directly into the ocean. It's like one of those ramps where you can put a boat in. So
the restaurant was on the water.
Stopping. On the map, it shows the blue. Like there's blue on the map where the ocean is, but she was like genuinely ready to just drive us straight into the ocean. It's so weird because otherwise you're such a good driver.
Yeah, that whole trip, we were really comfortable with you driving us. We loved
no one feared for their life. Everything
the airport was uneventful. Changing lanes on the freeway was uneventful.
I've stopped picking up friends from the airport, and I got glasses.
And we all survived to live another day and tell the tale.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's
our logo, our minivan logo.
Yes. Full
for
circle.
the You Can Call Me Karen podcast.
So thank you for listening to a bit about our hosts today. And we look forward to catching you on the next episode of You Can Call Me Karen.
Hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe.
And if you're loving listening to this podcast, please follow us on Instagram, like, and subscribe. Thank you.